Sensational, damn it!
Good morning, and at the end of this episode, I'm going to have a special guest coming on my podcast, but you'll have to wait to see who's my special guest. Just like the DNC last night, they actually didn't have their special guest. Look at this video.
In anticipation here and elsewhere that there may be a special guest.
I'm sorry, did you say the F word on CNN?
In anticipation here and elsewhere that there may be a special guest. I am told by Democrats that Kamala Harris was their guest. They did not want a
I'm sorry. What?
Was their guest. They did not.
They hyped up a special guest for hours and hours on end, and it turned out Kamala Harris was their special guest.
By Democrats that Kamala Harris was their guest. They did not want a celebrity at the end of this convention to essentially compete with her. One senior advisor telling me this is a deadly serious election. And if you looked at the end of this program, having Leon Panetta come on, the former defense secretary, really presenting Vice President Harris as a plausible commander-in-chief, that is one of the reasons I'm told that there was not a celebrity performance at the end. In anticipation here.
So apparently there was hours and hours and hours of content about Democrats absolutely hyping up the fact that Beyonce, I swear to God, I swear on my life, I'm hearing rumbles that Beyonce is going to be at the DNC. It's going to be Beyonce or Taylor Swift. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Check this out. Even Don Lemon got on it.
I'm sure you guys have read all the headlines, all the stuff on social media about who's going to be at the DNC. Is it going to be Beyonce? Is it going to be Taylor Swift? Here's what I hear from sources. If it's going to be anyone, it would be Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and George W. Bush.
I'm going to come.
Speaking. Those would be the heavy hitters.
The arrogance, the absolute arrogance to think that Beyonce is going to take, or Taylor Swift is going to take time out of her life to go and hype up Kamala Harris. Yeah, right. But another interesting clip is they're not done with the whole couch joke. It's been played out. It's not funny, but according to Democrats, if you say a joke 1,000 times over and you say it again and again and again, that's what makes it funny. Check this out.
Donald Trump and JD fans to look out for your family? Shoot, I wouldn't let those guys, I wouldn't trust them to move my couch.
Yeah, because JD Vance has sex with couches. So brave, so beautiful, so freaking brave. How dare you even say that? But there's been a common theme this entire DNC is that why is Kamala Harris not really releasing a platform? What is she running on? What are people even excited about supporting her over the fact that she's half black, half Indian, abortion? But CNN interviewed people on the floor asking, do you even care about policy? Or are you just voting purely on vibes? And you'll be surprised about their freaking answer because, well, maybe you're not going to be surprised, but check this out.
I haven't heard from many voters looking for white papers and policy papers. What they want to hear is what her vision is for this country.
The American people don't vote on policy prescriptions.
I actually think the way the American people think about this choice is less about the minutia of policy and more about the direction of the country, number one. And secondly, about the person. Character, it does matter.
And Jerry Connolly, the congressman from Virginia there, I asked him more about this. He said, remember what Elizabeth Warren did when she ran back in 2020? She had a white paper for every policy position under the sun. And what happened? She collapsed in the primary. So there's a belief that perhaps you put more ideas on paper, that's a bad idea. But the question is, voters want to see some of those ideas.
Right. Maybe, but if you go with the vibes, it's a vibes election. Right, that's right.
If you go with the vibes, it's a vibes election. And are Democrats are you guys children? Are you guys children? Do you need a little make you feel good, get spanked on the bottom and tell you that everything's going to be okay? I don't want to, disrupt your positivity by giving you stuff to think about, homework, policy positions. But they're not the only ones. This guy absolutely obliterated Van Jones on CNN, was saying they said absolutely nothing.
Tonight said anything. Nobody tonight said a damn thing. They want you to vote for a ticket based on absolutely no concrete idea about what they would do once they get in office. You said he got more progressive when he got elected governor. So you're saying every time he gets another office, he gets more and more progressive. I think that's exactly what would happen. Tonight, you did hear people say, well, we may not agree with them on everything, but at least it'll be joyful as they tax us into oblivion. I think the idea that you could run an entire presidential campaign based on the idea of vote for me to find out what's in it
Wait a minute,
ought to
Scott,
terrify
Scott,
every American.
Scott,
You're tonight said anything.
Said nothing? Are you serious? She said, I'm American and I'm going to be for all American voters. That's something. What does that mean? I mean, she's going to be there for them, okay? Kamala didn't say anything. She said a lot of, I'm going to be there for America. She talked about Trump about 1,000 times. She said, thank you 31 times before her speech even started. I counted. I was like, how many thank yous? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If I heard 32 thank yous, I would have done this to my television last night. And I think you would have done too.
Survivors of crime.
No
to
way.
remind them, no one should be able to fight alone.
Kamala Harris will never be my president.
Survivors of crime.
I love that people are sharing that meme on the left or that video on the left. And they're like, oh my God, left, right. People on the right are losing their minds. I hate when people take a joke, an obvious, clear, silly joke, and then they make it to be very serious. Just like my surprise guest is coming at the end of this episode, so look out for my surprise guest. The Democrat messaging the entire week has been very Republican-esque. It's very Donald Trump 2016-esque. It's been very populist. It seems like they're just running the entire platform of the Republicans. I've been trying to figure this out. I can't figure out a lot of its distinguishes between the two. They both disavow Project 2025. They're not the Republicans are not pro-life, despite how many times the Democrats can say that over and over again. They're both very supportive of Israel and everything that's going on. The Democrats were anti-woke all week. I didn't see very much woke language. I didn't see very much. I didn't see LGBTQ flags. I think they're putting that down because they think by doing so, they can bring in the middle of the aisle. And then once they get back in power, then the freak show will come back out. But like, I have been trying to figure out why nobody's walking up and saying their pronouns before they start speaking. It's like Democrats have forgotten. They just gaslight. They just become these creatures. And then they just gaslight you when you're like, where's your pronouns? What are you going to do? And they're like, what pronouns? I have never said those sort of things. That's what you think. You're being weird. And I've been noticing this trend with Democrats is that anytime you call them out on their BS right now, they'll call you weird. They'll say, what do you mean? You're being weird. You're the weird one. And that's a way to shut you down and gaslight you and to make you feel crazy. But that is such manipulative shit. That is insane. To push back on people's ideology, people's thought processes, people's remembrance of historical events, and instead of engaging in dialogue with them about it, you tell them you're crazy. That makes people angry. That's like what a psychotic uncle or, an abuser would do, is saying, no, I'm not hitting you. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not forcing you not to eat. You're being crazy. If you just follow my rules, then you can eat. It's like prison torture. And torture of the mind is the worst. And everyone knows that, because going crazy or feeling like you're going crazy makes everyone extremely mad. And I think this is all on purpose to get you angry, to get you to emotionally rise over the top of things so that you can engage people in common dialogue, calm down, relax, having a discussion. That's what they want. They want you angry. They want you flying off the cuff because then they feel like they can beat you. The weirdest thing in the world to me is Kamala Harris talking about how bad the economy is and everyone and their mom knowing who's been in charge and making things worse. You know, the strongest economy in the world, if it is the strongest economy in the world, according to Kamala Harris, everything is perfect, yet she says everything is too expensive. Make it make sense. The strongest economy in the world would not need price fixing laws, would not need price gouging, price fixing, whatever. That would not be a thing. You wouldn't even comprehend that. What's up, Violet? 3R4 likes. What? But last night was a whole bunch of nothing. The Democrats are completely running on vibes, and they're hoping. I mean, this is how dumb they think Democrats are, that they don't have to say what they're about. You just know. You just believe in faith. Oh, Star Trek. Oh, my bad. I don't watch Star Trek. Stepfather watched Star Trek, but I did not. I missed that boat. I forgot what I was saying. God, get a sip of coffee. It's my birthday today. Hello. Hello. Freaking birthday sip, dude. Coffee is so good. The Democrat platform is completely running on joy. And that's what they're hoping will bring them into victory at the end of the year, which is really sad because that's exactly what they think of their average voter. That their average voter doesn't actually care. They're going to vote for the Democrats no matter what. And they're going to only rely on messaging of it being a good vibes, being good, being happy. And they're going to constantly talk about until November. Don't you want to vote for somebody who makes you feel good? Don't you want to vote for somebody that makes you feel happy? Donald Trump brings chaos. Donald Trump is rude. Donald Trump has mean tweets. Donald Trump is an aggressive white male. Isn't it time to have somebody different? Isn't it time to have a black woman in office? Can you imagine what that's going to make you feel like if seeing a black woman in office? Won't that make you feel wholesome and good? Like America is a good place? Like America is finally, and then if she gets president and then Republicans say, see, America's not a racist country, they'll be like, no, actually it is. The gaslighting is hilarious to me. So don't get wrapped up in it. It's important not to get wrapped up in the good vibes gaslighting because that's what it is. Just gaslighting and lies. And they want to manipulate you into feeling a certain way in order for you to either get extremely mad at them so that you lose your temper, then you look like the crazy person. And then people on the other side of the aisle say, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that angry. I want to feel good. I want to have joy. Republicans need to step up their messaging, start acknowledging and going after Kamala Harris for taking their language and taking their policy positions. It seems like anytime Donald Trump puts out a policy position, Kamala Harris just does the same thing. It's very weird. Donald Trump's talking about housing. Oh, Kamala Harris puts out a new housing program. Donald Trump talks about inflation. Kamala Harris puts out price controls. Start rolling this stuff out. But the thing that the weirdest thing too is how they emphasize how Kamala Harris is tough. She's tough on crime. She's tough on criminals. But in reality, anybody that lives near a city knows how bad the cities have become, especially with the illegal migration. It's become very, very bad. And in specific cities, there are cities like in Denver, Colorado, where an entire apartment complex has been taken over by Venezuelan gangs. And then those residents that have been kicked out cannot go into their own homes because of squatting laws. And those homes are guarded with guns. And now I know like the media likes to pretend like that's not real, but you see video after video of actual people that have lived in these complexes talking about their experience and then talking about how they go to the government And the government says, there's nothing we can do to help you. Sorry. And that's going to create more chaos. So the biggest gaslight of the day is that it's safer than ever. Everything's fine. Kamala Harris has locked down the border, and she will make the border security even better. I like this idea that even though you've been in power, you're like, nothing's perfect yet, but I'm going to make it perfecter. I think today's going to be huge when RFK drops out and endorses Donald Trump. I think it's going to take everything away from the DNC the whole week. All the good vibes will go away. And I think Donald Trump should add RFK into some kind of federal capacity overlooking federal agencies, because that guy will, I feel like, actually get stuff done. Don't you? I think that guy will get stuff done. I mean, if I had a family member that was borderline murdered, or was murdered, potentially by the government, then he would be a good candidate. Have a great day, guys. Appreciate every single one of you guys for being here. Drop a like on this video. If you're watching on Twitter, I would greatly appreciate a little retweet on the video. Have a wonderful day. And I'm probably not going to live stream later tonight because I think I'm going to do some